Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're very appreciative that you are spending time with us here today for this webinar. We are talking about our new PowerG automation devices. We're very excited. We know you guys are busy individuals, so once again, just want to express that gratitude for taking some time to come and learn about these new products. Before we kind of jump into the meat and potatoes here, we want to take care of some housekeeping items. So first and foremost, want to let you guys know that this webinar is being recorded. So we'll record it and upload it to our Qualsys YouTube channel afterwards. So if you weren't able to, you had a coworker that wasn't able to attend, or you need to go reference some of the good things Kevin and Gordy are going to say here today, you can go back and find that on our YouTube channel. Next housekeeping item, we have a question section here. So if this is your first time joining us, or if you're a veteran, drop in that question section. Let us know where you're calling in from. And throughout the webinar, please be asking questions. We've got some phenomenal TAMs here in the background that are going to be able to answer those questions. So drop them in there. They'll be answering them. If they get inundated with questions, which sometimes happens, sometimes you guys are very active, and they're not able to get to questions, we will do some follow-up and make sure your questions do get answered. So let's shout some people out here. We've got Bill calling in from Owings Mills, Maryland. Bill, good to have you here. We got Frank with Yorktown Alarm. Frank, always good to see you. You're a repeat guy here. We love seeing you. Thanks for being here, Frank. We got Jason from South Dakota. We got Trent calling in from Sacramento. Nick from Montana. You guys are blowing this question section up. I wish I could call all of you guys out, but thank you for participating here. As you can see on the screen, we have our two presenters. I'm going to run some poll questions before we turn the time over to them, but we do have Kevin and Gordy. These are two of the most knowledgeable guys and two of the most fun individuals to listen to talk to. So you guys are in for a real treat today. So before we kind of turn that time over to them, I want to launch some poll questions. Sorry, one other thing before we launch these poll questions, I want to call to your attention, there are two handouts in the handout section. So we've got some literature relating to our PowerG Everywhere devices. So grab those, you can download them there. And yeah, just make sure you take a look at those. So without further ado, we'll jump into these poll questions. So please answer these poll questions. They help us understand kind of where you guys are at and how to better help you. So this first poll question, so what percentage of the jobs that you guys are working on would you say include automation devices? So when you go out, are you installing 75% of the time an automation device, 0 to 25%, and so on and so forth? I'll give you guys a couple seconds here to answer those questions. Interesting mix so far, interesting mix. All righty, I think we're about there on that poll question. Give you guys 5 more seconds. Great, thank you for that one. We'll jump in here to the next question. So this poll question, so what type of automation devices do you typically install? So I'm only able to put in 5 options here. So if there are other devices you guys are installing that aren't on this list, go ahead and drop in the chat what those devices are. Let us know if there's, I know Gordy gave me a list of, there's a bunch of devices out there. So one is not on here. Let us know in that question section what you are installing if it's not on the list.
I'm super surprised, by the way, by the in-wall light switches, dimmers, or plugs. That's much, much higher than I would have guessed.
That is interesting.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah, like Bo said, this list could be so much longer as well, but it's just we're trying to get a good pulse on the direction we need to move forward with.
Yeah, great one I didn't include on this list. I'm seeing in the chat section here is IQ Water Valve. So yeah, if you're installing IQ Water Valve, make sure you let us know in there, and then some of those other devices that you're installing.
Water valve, garage door openers.
Yeah, seeing that in there. Great, awesome. We got one more poll question. We'll do kind of 2 more at the end. So this is for me. I work on the marketing team, right? So part of my responsibility is to help you guys create custom materials. So if you guys would like some materials around the PowerG automation devices customized for your company, let us know. If you're not quite ready for that, just hit not yet, and that's something we can look at here in the future. All right, give you guys a couple more seconds to wrap that up. Great, thank you guys so much for participating in those polls. I did miss one housekeeping item. We will be doing some giveaways, right? We'll talk a little bit more about those at the end, but we're giving away 5 sets of all of our new automation devices. So to be eligible to win that, just stay on this webinar, attend with us, stick with us. And then afterwards, we will download a kind of a report of everybody that was here. We put it into a random name generator. And then if you are one of those winners, we'll hack it. We'll be reaching out to you to let you know that you won. All right, I've talked enough. Let's get into what you guys came here for. Gordy and Kevin, I'll turn the time over to you guys.
Hey, thank you. Really appreciate that, Bo, for all the housekeeping and for emceeing and hosting us here today. Look, Gordy and I are super excited for this one. It's kind of been a long time coming. If you've been following along, this is week 4 into a 5-week series, so we're kind of nearing the end. Tried to say what I hope is the best for last. And so we're excited to be here today and talk about these PowerG automation devices that have been a long time coming. I wanted to give you a quick baseline, set the stage here a little bit for what we're doing. I think everybody on the call probably knows what PowerG is and loves PowerG. You know, we like to say it just works, and that's because it does. You kind of plug it in and it magically works. You don't have to worry too much about range and repeaters and all kinds of stuff, but you're used to seeing it on our broad portfolio of security devices, and we really wanted to extend that to more than the door window sensor, right? We want to take that beyond security and go into this automation device protocols, and that's part of an effort that you might hear from us. We call it PowerG Everywhere. And so really what that is that's taking the PowerG technology and moving it into a lot of other devices that are out there. And we're starting with you know, the lighting solution we're going to talk about today, as well as the PowerG door lock. But you know, it includes everything you know and love about PowerG. So that's the range, that's the encryption, that's the reliability and the frequency hopping. So we're super excited about this effort that we call PowerG Everywhere.
Hey, you're right, Kevin. PowerG Everywhere, it just works. You know, I've personally tested it. I'm sure a lot of you here on the webinar have watched a lot of the videos that the team and I have put together. It's exciting. People are asking for these products. You know, we'd love to talk about them all. You know, PowerG Everywhere includes 5 different lighting devices and the new IQ PowerG lock. We know everybody's super excited about the lock. We have lots of questions about the lock. That's next week. This week, we're going to focus on specifically our lighting devices, these 5 devices that you see at the top of the page here. And we're going to go through them one at a time and talk about the features and benefits and why we think there's a need in the market. And the feedback from, well, our customers have brought us to this point.
Yeah, appreciate that, Gordy. So let's kick it off with an easy one. This is what we call the IQ Smart Plug. Now I've got one here, if you can see my camera. It's nice and small. This is your kind of traditional plug-in appliance module, but of course it's on PowerG. A couple things I really like about this one is because it's thin, it only takes up a single plug space. So that means if you're plugging this into an outlet, either the bottom or the top, you can still plug another device in above or below it, and it's not going to cover both outlets. A couple of specs on this here for everybody real quick. This is might also be called an appliance module in some circles. It's a 15 amp outlet and pretty broad range of temperatures that it can operate in, but this is really designed to be indoors. What I really want to do is show you how easy it is to program into a panel. So I'm going to switch over here to my panel real quick. I'm going to pull this down. Now, all of these PowerG automation devices are dependent on the 4.4 software. So if you joined us last week, you learned all about the 4.4 software, what's in it. But one of the primary things is support for PowerG automation devices. And so I've got a panel running 4.4 here. By the way, that's coming out early September, this software. So existing panels in the field can update to this software and you'll automatically get this functionality. I'm going to go into programming here. And you're probably very familiar with this, installation, devices. And what you'll notice is that we have a kind of a brand new icon in 4.4 that's on by default. Normally you'd have security sensors, Wi-Fi, Z-Wave, and Bluetooth. We've added this new automation icon. And this automation icon is essentially for everything except Z-Wave at this point. So primarily PowerG automation, but it could also be for Zigbee automation. It could be for deco lighting, some other integrations that we do. So we're going to go in here to automation. Now you can see that you can actually link right to your Z-Wave devices as well. So from a single icon, you can come into your Z-Wave menu, but the rest of this menu is really for these other automation devices. I have the chance to auto learn them, which is what we're going to do here shortly. edit the device, delete the device, remove them all, or even manually add a PowerG device by typing in the serial number. But we're going to go ahead and go to auto learn here. You can see I happen to already have a PowerG door lock learned in at this point in time. So that's in my list of devices. But the panel's here in listening mode, and it's just waiting for something to communicate with it at this point in time. So I've got my plug here. Hopefully you guys can see that. And there's two ways to learn this device in. I think the easiest way is simply plug it in. So once you plug it in, it'll take about 3 seconds. It'll start broadcasting to the panel, and it'll pop up requesting to be learned in. You'll notice this looks just like a PowerG sensor that you're used to. It's got a 3-digit prefix and a 4-digit suffix. If I want, it's got a label on the device. I can verify that's the serial number trying to be learned in. I would click OK. It automatically knows this is a light. Let's go ahead and give it a new name. Let's call it Kevin's light. Sorry, can't type. Here. All right. And this pin code is something new. This is optional. This is something new that we're bringing to PowerG and PowerG Plus, PowerG automation devices. There actually is a pin code on the device. What this does is creates an extra layer of security when you're learning it in. It's kind of like a 2-factor authentication. It's totally optional. It's not something you have to do. But if you want to be absolutely certain that the panel is pairing to this device, you can type in that pin code, and you can be certain that nothing is being spoofed or copied during the enrollment process. I can control the activation LED. I'm going to go ahead and leave that on, and I hit pair, and that's it. So it's as simple as going into programming, putting it in auto learn, plugging the device in, and you're off and running. Alternatively, you can hold down the button on the side of the device for 3 seconds. The light will turn yellow, just like a PowerG door window sensor. You let it go, it learns in that way. So either plugging it in or holding down the enrollment button, 2 ways to learn it in. Now when I go to my home screen here, I'm gonna swipe over, you'll see the light came in, it already networked itself, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on, and you might hear a little click. I'm hoping you can hear this on the screen here to understand how fast this device communicates with the panel. So ready, set, go. And it already clicked over here, and then updated status on the panel. Ready, set, go. Virtually instantaneous, and that's one of the magics of PowerG. So
what's even more exciting than that too, Kevin, is the fact that that could be, thousands of feet away, and be that fast as well. It's very exciting to know we can do lights in a larger application now.
Yeah, we love it. You plug it in, it's gonna work a long ways away. You no longer kind of have to build this mesh network, so to speak, to reach these further away devices. You can kind of just set it and forget it, just like you do with the PowerG door window sensor or a PowerG motion, right?
Well, I guess I'll talk about the outdoor plug. Looks kind of odd. I have one in my hand. I'm not sure if you can see my camera or not. It looks very similar to some of the other ones on the market. But the nice thing about this unit here is, well, of course, it's temperature rating. We can put this outside, control lights in every environment that you can imagine. But the unique thing that stands out for the PowerG outdoor plug, in my opinion, is the fact that it's 2 addresses. So there's 2 plugs on this outdoor item. I think you can see them in my screen. And each one is an individual PowerG address. So if we want to turn on the light at the end of the driveway, and then we want to turn on the fish pond that's next to it, for example, or holiday lights, anything specific, you have 2 addresses. And another item that's sort of stands out as well is the fact that it's priced very similar to competitive items on the market that only have 1 address associated to them. So we're really getting 2 for 1 on our outdoor module. It's 15 amp total for the 2 outlets, so we're not gonna turn on anything massive, but it will handle everything normal that you're used to turning on in the environment. Are we gonna program this as well, Kevin, or are we gonna bother?
Oh yeah, let's do that real quick and show what that looks like.
Okay.
Whoops, so Wrong way here. Give me just 1 second. If I can do this right. Sorry, guys.
Oh, sorry, I put you on the spot there, but I was, it's just nice to see those two addresses pop up because it gives everybody that visualization of wow, it's actually two addresses. And when you contact your distributor, get pricing on it, do pre-orders, which are available now, you'll be able to see that the cost factor of it is amazing as well.
That's right. And same thing as the previous lamp module. I just plug it in. It's going to pair to the panel. I'll show you that. Or I can press and hold. There's a left and a right button on here for manual control. If I press and hold those at the same time, this light, this LED would also turn amber, turn yellow, and then it would learn in that way. So we're going to do it the easy way. We're just going to simply plug it in here. We'll wait 3 seconds. It should auto broadcast to the panel. Here it comes. I can verify the serial number on that. Yep, 3333, no problem. And again, I'm going to name this one a custom name. Let's go ahead and name this outdoor string lights. I know a lot of people like those string lights on their patio. And you'll see what this does here. Same thing, pin code's optional, activation LED is optional. I'm going to pair it. And when I do that,
sensor added successfully.
Notice that it put in outdoor string lights and then it automatically added outdoor string lights too. So it automatically, I learned it in one time, it added both sides of the outlet like Gordy was talking about automatically with the same sensor ID here, but separately controllable. So if I go back one page, I can now go to edit device. And if I don't want this to be outdoor string lights too, let's say the other side of the outlet, I wanted to make that my landscape lighting. That, and I can simply edit that name.
Updated successfully.
And when I come here to my home screen, here they are, outdoor string lights and landscape lighting, separately controllable. And you'll see that here on these LEDs. Turn that on, you see how fast that was. So that was this side of the outlet. Turn this one on. And that was this side of the outlet. So you can control these really fast.
Once again, too, that can be thousands of feet away. We specifically use that outdoor device across Niagara Falls from Canada to the US, and we were successfully turning a light on. It was amazing. The fact that we don't need to put repeaters in place, we don't need to add extra equipment. The outdoor plug and the indoor plug are amazing.
All right, so let's talk about our smart socket. Now this is an in-wall socket, and I've got one here. I'm not gonna learn this one into the panel, but this actually also is separately controllable. So the top outlet and the bottom outlet, very similar to the outdoor outlet. You can control the top and the bottom completely separately. You can give them separate names. Again, to learn this in, you just press and hold both buttons here for 3 seconds. It automatically learns into the panel. Pretty typical on how to wire an outlet. I really like these screw terminals on the back. You stick your wires in the back, tighten down the screw terminals. Super easy to go ahead and wire this outlet. You've got your hot, you've got your neutral, really simple. You can take it in, you can take it out if it's in the series of another outlet. From the faceplate perspective, this just comes off here real quick. So this comes with a screwless faceplate, which a lot of people like. It's really nice and clean. If you wanted to add a traditional faceplate, you can do that just with a screwdriver. This ring comes off and you're left with just the outlet, and you can go to a traditional style faceplate as well. Or maybe if it was in line with other outlets, you don't see that very often on outlets, but if it's in line with 2 or 3 other outlets and you want to use a double or triple gang faceplate cover, you can do that as well on this device. Your specs are going to be pretty similar to any kind of outlet out there. Yeah, super simple. IQ Smart Socket. So
once again, those two addresses are amazing as well. You got the top and the bottom individually controlled, so you don't need to put 2 devices in. I think that's a unique addition to PowerG. All right, let's talk about the switch. It's not very exciting. It's a switch. There's not much to say about a switch, but a lot of the common questions I'm getting in the field and our team is getting in the field is, does it need a common wire? Absolutely, it needs a common wire. Is there a three-way switch or a slave switch available? Not yet. We're going to the market very strategic first, but we are planning on releasing a slave switch to give you those 3- and 4-way switch applications that everybody's asking about. I don't know if you can see this or not. It's kind of whited out, but I have it on a double gang screwless plate in my camera feed here now. So I have 2 different light switches in here. They just look very clean with those screwless plates. And to learn it in, Kevin, is it just push and hold?
Yeah, so this one's super easy. There's actually, it's a kind of almost like a digital rocker. So up and down, and you can actually just press the top and the bottom at the same time. So same as all PowerG devices, press and hold for 3 seconds. There's a little amber LED that will light up. It broadcasts to the panel, auto learns right in. You've got your sticker with your device ID and your PIN code on the back of the device. If this is already in the wall, you've got the exact same sticker with the same information on the box. So you don't have to pull it out of the wall to find that, which is nice. And like you said, you got your line, you got your load, and you got your neutral. So pretty easy to wire this one up.
And it is just a toggle. It'll handle all kinds of lighting. I think we have the specs on the next slide here, but
Yep.
It's of course your incandescent and LED lights. So whatever you have in the market, just turning them on, turning off. Applications I see for a switch. Same thing I use my switches for here is outdoor lighting. My patio door turns on at specific times, turns off at specific times, and it's that kind of application. But the nice thing is it's PowerG, so I could put that in a barn or a garage or wherever far away, connected to, within a couple thousand feet of my home or my business, and I'd be able to turn that on as well.
Yeah, I love it. I just did one of these for a front porch light, and it's great, super easy, single pole location. Love it for that application. And then of course we have the dimmer. Now we're down to our last device here. This is very similar to the switch we just talked about. This one doesn't come with leads on it. This one you wire directly to the back of the switch. Does require your line, your load, and your neutral. So same exact wiring configuration as the other device. Only difference here is this one's dimmable, right? So same thing, to learn it in, press and hold both buttons for 3 seconds, let go. It'll learn into the panel. You've got your on, you've got your off, and press and hold for dimming, and it will change the light level. Of course, you get the dim control on the panel as well, and in your app on alarm.com. So pretty cool device here. Same thing with the wall plate as the other devices. Snaps right off if you want to. You can use the screwless plate, or you can use a traditional plate with screws. It's got that capability here built in. So that is the IQ dimmer. Anything else to add, Gordy? Any questions from the chat that people are asking that have not been answered for Bo and the rest of the team here?
Hey, Kev, there is a repeating question of the wattage for the sockets. Do you have that handy? The group?
That's in here for the plug-in sockets here.
Yep.
So 15
1800.
amps. Yeah,
1800 watts.
Yeah, there you go.
Just we saw that question popping in a few times, so we figured we'd bring
Same
it
thing
up.
with the outdoor.
Yeah, the outdoor is 1800 as well.
Yep.
I think the most
Awesome.
exciting part is the fact that we don't have to put repeaters. It just works.
Yeah.
How many times
I
are you
saw
going
a
to say it
question.
just works, Gordy?
Well, it works. So I'm going to say it all the time.
A question in here that might be valuable to bring up. Do these take up Z-Wave device spots?
Yeah, that's a great question. Neil, do you want to chime in on that one there?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they do not take up Z-Wave spots at all. We'll separate, church and state, so to speak. Z-Wave and PowerG are totally separate. You can have up to 114 total PowerG automation devices right now without affecting your PowerG Berg slot. So you still have your 128 PowerG, Berg intrusion, fire, life safety devices, and then 114 PowerG automation.
There you go. So it does not take up a PowerG zone, does not take away from your 128, also does not take away from your Z-Wave device count, right? So totally separate device count from that on PowerG.
You can build quite a system with that too, if you think about the flexibility of that. That's hundreds of devices.
Yep, there's been a few questions of will this work on Neo? You want to take that one, that hot potato there, Kev?
So it's a great question. I think all I'll say at this point is we're working on that. Today, this is for the IQ platform. So IQ4NS, which, you know, we did a webinar on this a couple weeks ago. You know, this launched yesterday, actually. So this is out and about, officially launched yesterday, and product is now shipping to distribution. IQ4NS, IQ4 Hub, IQ4 flagship, IQ Panel 4, and IQ Pro is really where these devices will launch. And with the 4.4 software, right? And so IQ Pro, that's a little different. 4.3, is that right, Neil? Which is coming. But
Yep,
really designed.
Yep.
Yeah, really designed for the IQ platform at this point in time, and we're doing our best to bring the legacy platforms up to speed with these devices. We'll see how we do there. So
maybe one last question: colors for the switches. What are we looking at? Just white? We have more colors coming.
Yeah, good question. White today. Gordy mentioned a little bit. Especially on the in-wall stuff, I was quite surprised actually by the poll. I think it said something like 50 or 60% of people do in-wall switches. Now that I don't think that means 50 or 60% of all of your installs have in-wall switches. It just means about half of you do them sometimes, right? And so what we really want to do is gauge that. That obviously requires an electrician in certain markets. Sometimes you're working with a builder, an electrician. Sometimes, you know, you may be a certified electrician as well as a low voltage guy. So especially as it comes to the in-wall stuff, we want to gauge the market a little bit as we introduce new variants, new SKUs, new colors, three-way switches, etc. So we're being a little bit cautious there. The plug-in modules are kind of a no-brainer. You guys do those every single day. They're easy, they're quick. You can add them at the time of install as an upsell. So TBD on colors, but put it in the chat. Let us know if that's something you're passionate about, if there's a specific color you're doing or something that matters to you. We want to hear about that.
That's actually what I love about this company is the fact that we listen. So when you ask questions like this, it makes us think a little differently. That's why we're starting out with very specific items. But if you give us ideas, chances are we're going to make it because look at what we've done over the last few years. It's just been phenomenal. Everything people are asking for that makes sense, we build.
Great, thanks. Yep. Thank you, Gordy and Kevin. I think with that, we'll do our last two poll questions here and then talk a little bit more about the giveaways. But Gordy, Kevin, this was an awesome webinar. I learned a lot. Thank you guys so much. So two poll questions for you here. Which device are you most excited about? The devices we talked about today, which one gets you the most excited?
I'm loving it, coming in hot on the outdoor plug. The other ones are creeping up here in the real-time poll. And, you know, I'm excited. I think we only had about 10% of people that were doing an outdoor plug in the previous poll. And I got to believe that's related to a couple things. One, there's not that many outdoor Z-Wave devices available. And two, historically, it's been Z-Wave. You got to now make that thing work, right? So if you're going to sell them an outdoor Z-Wave outlet, it's on you to make sure it works and works reliably and doesn't become a service call for you. And so, you know, I expect to see that number shoot way up on PowerG because you guys know you'll be able to, you know, do new things that you haven't been able to do before. Plug it in, it's going to work. You're not going to have to worry about it. It's not. Oftentimes, we don't want to sell things that that we're not confident in ourselves as dealers. And you know, I think the outdoor outlet there is going to help change that a little bit. So up to 70% outdoor one there.
Interesting results there for sure. And then one last poll question before we talk about that giveaway. So after learning about these PowerG automation devices, do you need some more technical insight into this? Do you need more sales training, or do you not need anything? Are you just ready to get these devices in your hand once they're available?
The one thing I want to throw out, I'm ready to buy when they're available. So, you know, buy now. All your distributors, all your local distributors are taking pre-orders. We are shipping in September. Once our version 4.4 gets released, it's exciting. If you want them, back order them. Pre-orders are available now.
Thank you, Gordy. Thanks for adding that in there. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys once again for being here. Thanks for answering those poll questions. So the winners, if you didn't catch that at the beginning, we're giving away 5 sets of each device. So there will be 5 winners. We just randomly select that. We download a list of everybody that was here, and then we put it into a random name generator. If you win, you will receive an email from Will Hackett either later today or tomorrow morning. He'll let you know that you won. And then just as we're, ramping up to get these devices actually out the door, be patient with us because we don't have them in hand. So if you do win, we'll keep your information, and then once we have them, we'll get them shipped out to you. Once again, this is our next week is our last episode of this webinar series. Please tune in. We've got some really good presenters on there, and we're talking about IQ Lock. If you're here today, you're already registered for next week. So please join us. Kevin, Gordy, any last words?
No, it's been fun. Thank you guys.
Place your orders now.
Place those orders.
That's the message, and I'm looking forward to seeing the lock one next week.
Does it just work, Gordy? Just curious. Does it just work?
PowerG everywhere. It works.
That's what I was teeing him up for, Neil, but he missed it. All right. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you all next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.